Ali Vitale has been covering the Haley campaign in South Carolina. Ali, not a whole lot of excitement where you are because she is watching the returns privately, but they are trying to make the case that we're in a good mood. She deprived Trump of sweeping tonight with that win in Vermont. What are you hearing from inside the campaign?
And look, that's got to feel good for them because just like in Washington, D.C., Kristen, where they were the first woman to win a Republican primary ever, now they actually get that record and they make it 2 states. So certainly a win is not a loss. And in Haley world, a win is a win. But it doesn't mean that they have enough to get to a place where they could argue that they want to stay in this race. Of course, that's me reading tea leaves because the campaign themselves told us at around 9 p.m. we should stop expecting to hear updates from them. You and I both have dealt with campaigns for years now at every level up and down the ballot. It is extremely odd to have a campaign say to you outright, you are just not going to hear from us at all again tonight. You're not going to hear from the candidate. We're not going to tell you how they spent the bulk of their day. It is really, truly strange, and it does tell the story in stark contrast between the way that the former president, where Garrett was tonight at Mar-a-Lago, ushered in what is likely the next phase of this campaign. Contrast that with Nikki Haley, who was physically nowhere to be seen, save for this morning in a cable news appearance, and then flying back from Texas, where she held her last public campaign event last night. It leaves us in the position of, again, reading tea leaves, reading between the lines of what some of our sources are starting to tell us. And that is a very small trickle of information. What we do know is that Haley staffers spent tonight in the building behind me. They used words like jubilant. They used words like upbeat. I think that that might be counterintuitive to our viewers, especially for a campaign that seems like it might be on its way out of this race. But what one person who's close to the campaign and who was at the campaign HQ said to me tonight is that there really is a feeling in this room of everyone feeling like they fought for a righteous cause. Now, again, if you want to add to the tea leaves, that is yet another thing we're reading, the tone of some of our conversations with sources and staffers tonight. But there's only so much guessing you can do in this game. And Nikki Haley ultimately is going to have to be the one to speak for herself at some point here.
Absolutely. And Ali, just very quickly, she said to me on Sunday she would stay in this race as long as she was competitive. She gets to decide what competitive means. And part of that probably is dependent on donors. But boy, the tea leaves that you're reading are pretty significant. Do you have a sense of timing of if and when she may drop out, or is she in this potentially through the convention?
This is always the way that they have been. The fact that she was vague with you over the weekend tracks with the way that both the candidate and her senior campaign staff have talked to me since we started going through balloting contests as early as Iowa in January. They don't like to set hard and fast metrics of what they need to achieve in order to call it a success. But the fact that she says she's staying until she's competitive and letting other people define if she is or isn't, that's the problem with staying mum tonight. But I can tell you, Kristen, if she drops out, when she drops out, it's not going to be because she's out of cash. Donors have never been Haley's problem.
Thanks for watching. Stay updated about breaking news and top stories on the NBC News app or follow us on social media.